Our children are now the unhealthiest, sickest children in the world. Don't you want healthy children? And don't you want the chemicals out of our food? And don't you want the regulatory agencies to be free from corporate corruption?
Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Today, I've got some RFK and Donald Trump. Yes, you all heard about the fabulous endorsement, but I wanted to give you guys a little bit more insight into how Trump actually felt about the endorsement. And he's talking to Dr. Phil, and then we'll get into some other things. But before we get into it, don't forget, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Now let's get into it. So we know the demon rats are really afraid right now. They are so scared. I'm going to keep a close eye on this because they always have a trick up their sleeve. I really thought at the DNC they were going to do something crazy and it would end up being Michelle Obama. I really, really did. I was wrong. Okay, I get it. I was not right. But I still wonder, never mind. But I'm just excited about this new endorsement, and you all can tell me what you think about it because they have a lot in common, Donald Trump and RFK Jr., as far as no wars, free speech, and other things. And I really love it when they're talking about the food and making it more pure so that we can be healthier. I don't think I've heard anybody ever really talk about that and really did something about it. I don't think I ever have. And that is such exciting news to me because at one point I was almost totally organic. And you know that can get expensive. But let's check out this clip right here.
The values and the issues that bind us together. And one of the issues that he talked about was having safe food and ending the chronic disease epidemic. Our children are now the unhealthiest, sickest children in the world. Don't you want healthy children? And don't you want the chemicals out of our food? And don't you want the regulatory agencies to be free from corporate corruption? And that's what President Trump told me that he wanted. He also told me that he wanted to end the grip of the neocons on U.S. foreign policy. He said he didn't want any more $200 billion wars in Ukraine, that we could use that money back here in the United States. And the best way to build a safe America is to rebuild our industrial base and rebuild the middle class in this country. And don't you want a president who's going to get us out of the wars and who's going to rebuild the middle class in this country? And he told me that he wanted to end the censorship because the whole basis of American democracy is the free flow of information. And we know that a government that can silence its opponents has license for any kind of atrocity. And can you think of any time that you can look back in history and say that the people who were censoring were the good guys? They're always the bad guys, because it's always the first step down that slippery slope to totalitarianism.
Wow. Censorship of free speech, which it won't be free because certain platforms do censor. Social media platforms, other things they censor, and that is the first step down to, based on what he said, down that slippery slope of totalitarianism. Yes, controlling what people say. And also, I believe too, with the way the media is, it also indoctrinates and causes you to think a certain way if you let it, if you are not careful with what you take in. If we're not careful with what we take in, as far as our eyes and our ears, if we're not careful, then we're going to be indoctrinated. We'll start thinking a certain way about certain things that at one point were considered shameful, like certain lifestyles. Now they are more normalized and it's not such a big deal. So we got to be careful with that. It is always has been for a little while now a soft way of indoctrinating people through the media. We have to be careful. And I love the fact that they have a lot of things in common. You know, they don't want the wars. RFK and Trump do not want the wars. And the very important thing that I already mentioned was the food. You know, we want healthy children. We don't want the chemicals in the food supply. My sister and I talk about this from time to time, everything that's in it. But I want to share this with you right now with Donald Trump talking to Dr. Phil and how he feels about the RFK endorsement.
RFK Jr. has offered his support to you and your campaign. How do you
Yes.
feel about that?
I'm very honored by it. He's a very smart guy, a different kind of a guy, but very smart, loves our country, has some, I think, very good views on a lot of different things. And I've known him for a long time. We've been somewhat friendly, actually. And I think he's going to be a great asset. And will I have him in the administration? It's possible. We haven't really discussed that, but it's possible. But I think he adds a lot. I think he adds a lot to the election. He's got a good following, tremendous following. I think he adds a lot to the election. And I think he adds a lot to if we win. I mean, he's got some very interesting ideas and good ideas.
And just to put it into perspective, how RFK actually helps Donald Trump, let's take a look at this right here. So this is coming from Donald Trump's social media Twitter account here. It says Trump campaign memo on what RFK Jr.'s exit and endorsement means. So it says, well, the data speaks for itself. The table below is from our most recent round of battleground state surveys. As you can clearly see, in every single state, RFK Jr.'s vote breaks for President Trump. Kennedy vote share by state and how they vote in the head-to-head ballot. So here are the states across the top, and then you have current RFK Jr. vote, and he gets 5%, 3, 4, you know, in Arizona, 5%, Georgia, 3%, Michigan, 4, North Carolina, 3, Nevada, 4, Pennsylvania, 4, Wisconsin, 4. Trump, of course, he gets that. So Trump will get RFKs now, and it will put them further in the lead. Now, you do have undecided people that we have to look at, but Donald Trump is going to gain because those people will follow RFK, the voters will, and the policies that RFK is for, you know, Donald Trump, they're going to work together on this, right? So this is very, very good news. So it's amazing to me because Trump is 53% in Arizona, 47% in Georgia, which it will go up to 50. And, you know, here is Harris right here. She's got 28% in Arizona, 34% in Georgia, 41% in Michigan, and so forth. So now you've got Trump with his high percentage already adding to, you know, RFK adding to that. So to put these numbers into perspective, the net vote gained in a state like Arizona based on just a 2020 turnout model would be over 41,000 votes, nearly 4 times Biden's winning margin. Or in Georgia, the net gain would be over 19,000 votes, nearly twice Biden's margin. So when you hear or see the Harris team and or the Democrats try and spin otherwise, now that the data clearly paints a different picture, this is good news for President Trump and his campaign. plain and simple. You know, those Democrats are going to do everything they can in the media to spin it around, try to make it look like it's one way when it's really not, and to cover for this person who doesn't even answer questions and doesn't really have an actual platform. She doesn't even have a platform. What has she said? That she's going to do something that she could have done in the first place and hasn't done it yet? I don't even know if she'll even try to do it before the election, because they actually get paid to do the opposite of help. And that's the Democrats for you. I just don't think that people are really aware of where the Democrat Party is going. Look at my video. Look at my video with RFK when it says that he is suspending his campaign and endorsing Trump. I'm going to link it at the end of this one. You have listened to what he says. This is where that party has gone. They weaponize, they use the law to go after someone that they feel is standing in their way of getting power or maintaining power. We need to wake up. We need to be aware of what is happening. Truly, truly be aware. Well, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America. And as I always say, march on, warriors.